Hey Alice, welcome back. You have come at quite a momentous time. We have a very special returning guest, Mr. Joseph Page of Vladipus 9, of Sweet Song Nashville, of various hats in this town. Um, his latest single, Vladipus Nine's latest single, Grimm Poobah, is out now. It is as weird and eclectic as anything else you've ever done. I say that with all respect.
Thank
Um,
you.
I just I was just looking at because I was like, damn, it's been a minute since I've talked to Joe. So I went back and looked, and it's been 5 years
Wow,
since
since
the
we did
last
that,
one.
holy crap. I had no idea, dude.
Yeah, me either. You were actually one of our first guests. That was
That's crazy.
Yeah, this will be like episode 240. That was episode 28.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was
Wow,
episode
dude.
28. So it's been over
Wow.
200 episodes since then.
Congratulations, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Um, and that was, we were talking about Roughneck on that one, which is also a great song.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So after you're done listening to Grim Poobah, go check out Roughneck. Another really just everything you do is so different and interesting. Um,
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also have Dumpster Fire Fest 2 at the
Correct.
Cobra coming up. That's January 8th through the 10th. You
Correct.
want to tell everyone a little bit more about that?
It's 3 nights, benefiting three different charities. Everything after the cost of putting on the show goes evenly to the three charities, 24 bands. We're going to do dual stages. So setups and teardowns are taking place while a band is playing on the other stage. So you can just literally go from band to band to band without any kind of delays, I guess, in the evening. It starts, I think the first band starts at 7:30. I believe that's correct each night. And then ending around midnight with I guess the three headliners, if we say that word.
Right on. So it'll be like the event room and then like the where the bar's at.
Yeah, like what we call the front stage would be the bar room, and then what we call the backstage would be I guess the big room.
Hell yeah. What are some of the other bands playing?
Okay, let's see. Abstract Black.
Yeah, I've seen
Al-
him before at Mouth Hole with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
JV, he's the king, man. That guy's a king. Altered Statesman,
hmm
um, Voltage Hawk, Platypus 9, another one of my side things called Carpet Stain, Chop Top Chang, The Chewers, um, Country Death, um, Regdar and the Fire, tons, dude. There's tons of bands.
Hell yeah.
It's
Uh,
24.
I love Chop Chop Chang.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
I love that chimp. Uh,
I think technically he's an ape, right?
oh, okay.
I think
Excuse me.
that's correct.
That was incredibly speciest of me. But yeah, ape is probably more accurate. So, um, first of all, very excited about that. I'll see you there. Uh,
Cool, man.
Definitely go to Dumpster Fire Fest 2
Too.
to check out all those bands. Go all 3 days. Um, go support live music in general.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about Grim Poobah. So this is another just really interesting song you put out. Can you tell me just a little bit about that?
I guess like the gist, like a very gist version is that it's about uh it's about Lisa and my our our world views and the clash of what we're witnessing through the propaganda of media and how people are literally changing their entire lives on, you know, scripted TV shows. And that it has a lot to do with that. It it was very personal to us. We waited a little while to release it because we there were other reasons, but one of the main reasons is how relevant that what's going on in that song is to today.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. I'm gonna since you and I have talked both on and off camera about some pretty out there stuff, so I'm gonna skip some of my um more like surface level questions.
Yeah,
And
cool.
how deeply entrenched do you think extraterrestrials are in global politics?
I'm pretty sure that since before Samaria that it was that way.
Okay, whole time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you.
I'm pretty sure they're the reason there is civilization. We went from sleeping in holes in the ground to doing all the stuff we do now.
I got you. Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. That there's a lot of decisions that get made on a global level. Like a lot of it can be explained with like greed and profit, but then some of the decisions are also it seems like the intention is harm. It is evil. It is control.
I guess my approach to it is that regardless of what you're looking into, ultimately you end up at a point where the only answer is that these are inhumane ideas. How can they really be brought into fruition with like human beings being the ones involved? That I think that's the best way I could say that, I guess.
I agree
Al-
with I agree with you. Sorry, go ahead.
Although human beings are the only reason it works.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they didn't need us to pull it off, we wouldn't be around.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I think that I'm somewhat of a humanist. I think human nature is good. There's obvious caveats to that.
Yeah, of course.
But I do believe that the human nature is to be good. People are not typically evil. Like there's a lot of evil that's born out of desperation, right? It's like
Right.
you do something wicked because it's the way you put food on the table for your family. Like that's not really what I'm talking about. But then there's like there seems to be a malevolent force in the world, and I don't think that starts with people. Like
No,
people,
I don't believe so either, man. I believe that is stuff that has existed long before we even were whatever we started out as.
yeah. Where do you think we fall into that scheme? Like why do they need people?
I guess I I guess the way I could say this is that I think that human beings are still connected to whatever source that there is, the main source. And I believe these other entities, I believe they were cut off from the source. Now, I don't know if that was a punishment or if that was just simple evolution. Scientific evolution removes you from the source. And I think that that has a lot to do with all the stories you hear about genetic engineering and stuff. I think that's because they're trying to reincorporate the source back into themselves, but the source doesn't come from blood cells and DNA and tissue. That's a whole nother consciousness type conversation. That's what I think.
Okay, I got you. So they're using people to try to get back to origin or to some kind of like source consciousness. But
Yeah.
that kind of stems from a misunderstanding of that because it's kind of a vain effort if I'm understanding right then. Because
Like they don't it's like it doesn't occur to them that our consciousness is not our DNA. And so they just think it's somehow missing in their perceptions of where it is or what it is or how to get it. But I think they just need us to figure out how to get back to something they've lost.
I gotcha. That makes a lot of sense to me. That also like correlates with not just one, but many different religious beliefs as well.
Tons, dude. Yeah, tons of them, man. Tons of them.
Yeah. Shit's crazy. What a wild world that we live in.
I never thought it would be like this. In my wildest punk rock heathenism, I never in a million years thought things would be like the way they are now.
It's crazy, man. What, where do you think, do you think there's going to be like an intervention? Like, just let me back up and ask that a different way. So, like, I grew up very religiously, like, and I kind of thought that my parents were crazy. And then as I'm getting older, it's like, no, this looks a lot like biblical prophecy. Like, this looks a lot like the book of Revelation. Um, it's like I'm seeing the signs, and like part of that is like as you get older, I think you're just maybe my brain's just developed now. I don't know, but like I can see it. I can see like the pattern unfolding. And I guess, do you think that how do you think this resolves?
Um, I think that, it's probably not fair to say it, but I think that humankind is irreplaceable. And I think that ultimately there will always be humankind. That's what I think. You know, like I subscribe to some of what you're saying, about how things are lining up. But a lot of times when I'm really deep in the thought of it all, the contemplation, those things were written by the people who built our world. And so like it lines up because they planned it millions of years ago, I guess is however far you want to let yourself say.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe maybe the end of the world isn't the end of the world, it's the end of an era, and then the cycle repeats itself kind of thing.
That great reset stuff makes a lot of sense to me, man. Even though like there's a whole lot of stuff that I could argue doesn't make sense, but it does make sense that, every 150 years, who really remembers anything? I mean, I talk to people now and they have no concept of what the 80s were like.
Yeah.
Like, it's just foreign to them. So I don't see why it couldn't be like that, 100 years from now, that nobody knows what like this was like.
Oh, for sure, dude. Like we can't get a accurate account of what happened 5 years ago.
Nah.
So it's like you sure as hell can't get an accurate account of what happened 100 years ago.
Nah, and when they do, it's just maybe an educated perception that they have personally. It's not really like there's no universal like answer to any of that stuff, man. Like everyone's gonna have their own. That's kind of why we're special.
Yeah.
Because we find the ways that weren't thought of. That's what I believe.
Yeah, it does seem like we're unique in the way that we have potential, right? It's like we stand at a crossroads and there's like a battle over spirit, and that's a bigger battle than people, and it predates people, but people seem uh, like there's forces trying to persuade people one way or another, I guess. Um, that does seem like I like your theory that it's a big science experiment. They're trying to understand us so that they can reach some kind of enlightenment on their own. That seems likely. Um, I think I don't know if it gives me hope or anxiety about the people always being around part, because it's like, is that a perpetual kind of slavery, or is that reassuring
Do
that
are
we're
you
always going to
meaning
be here?
are you meaning like the soul recycler and shit? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's where I was taking it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's a hard call, man. It's hard to know. Like I think I think for sure there's a whole lot of people that need to go back through that soul recycler.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think I've been here a few times, and that's not a good thing. Um, I think hopefully I'm learning the lessons I need to, but I think I have failed to pass the second grade or
You
the
know,
first grade many times.
I think this is kind of like what worldview I've come to at least currently settle into is that like a writer can write a story and he can write every single detail and build an entire universe in this story, but the writer can never understand what any of that shit feels like or what experiences come from it because it's just something it's reading that it already wrote. And
Yeah,
so I feel like that's the role of humanity and humankind is that whether our experiences are good or bad, there's still really important data to something that's trying to create something perfect.
yeah, yeah. It's useful. Um, that's where like I go back and forth about the simulation thing because even in the name simulation, it implies that it's simulating something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like that. It's I guess uh, like a virtual reality is like a different way of saying simulation, but like has a different kind of context. Simulation implies that there's an intention and a specific thing we're trying to simulate. Um, Something that's not this that we're trying to recreate would be kind of like the implication of simulation. But yeah, maybe there's useful data in this experience. I get what you're saying. You much of a gamer? You play games?
Those Batman games ruined me, dude. After I beat all the Batman games, I just couldn't care anymore.
I
I just
gotcha.
I just wanted more Batman games.
The Arkham games are great.
They're just great.
I bring it up because it actually just won Game of the Year, but I'm addicted to this game, Expedition 33.
Is that the one where it's like an open source universe in space or something and you colonize or whatever? Is that the one that can never end? Like,
I think you're thinking of No Man's Sky.
okay.
This is a uh, it's a French game from an indie studio, um, and it won. It actually like a few days ago they had the video game awards, and it won Game of the Year, Best Indie Game, Best Soundtrack, Best Performance. Like it kind of swept the whole thing, and but I bring it up because it's extremely meta and it gets into living concepts and like art taking on life. And
Okay.
it just reminded me of a lot of what we're talking about here, where it's like the writer can't experience what it's like to be the words on the page, like to be those characters.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very artsy. It's extremely French. I'll say that. But I like that kind of stuff though. Um, the best part about it is the soundtrack. So even if you don't play it, I'll send you the soundtrack. I think you'd enjoy it.
Hey, cool, man. Thanks. We
Yeah.
just watched Triplets of Belleville again, and I think that's a French film.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I like high art stuff.
Yeah. Have you seen that Triplets of Belleville?
No, no,
Oh, dude, it's beautiful. It's like it's animation, hardly any talking. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
we recently so we do a few different programs on this channel now. One of which is a movie club. So maybe we'll do a podcast and talk about that
Oh,
specifically sometime.
cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that cinema is probably it's pretty close to the greatest human achievement so far, I think, is cinema. It
Yeah.
in, it incorporates all art. You know, you got paintings in the background, you got sound effects and music, and you got literature, and you got the human bearing their souls, and you know, it's like everything that a human is cinema.
I love that. That's a really good point. It's got all of the other forms of art that we love, like you said, literature, music, um, like stage play, like all acting, like all of that comes into it. Yeah.
That and cigarette lighters. I'm pretty sure cigarette lighters is like at least a close like second.
The two greatest human achievements.
Yeah, dude.
I think Platypus Nine's up there too somewhere. Um, but without we've already kind of covered the like the soul recycling, reincarnation, um, coming back here and doing this again. If beyond that, do you have any ideas about what happens after we die? So if you're not getting recycled here, what do you think happens to people?
I think the way I'll answer this is I am hopeful that I'm able to pass along whatever experiences to the source that I've accumulated. And then I would think that you probably move into a higher density.
I gotcha.
If you can, you know, if you got the right documentation.
You have your passport.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. I think in a way I kind of hope that it's like there's layers to this. So
Yeah, man. You
so it's
got
not
to.
yeah, it's not even just one and done. It's like you kind of move on to the next grade and there's new challenges and
Well, you know, man, if you think of like what most people just like refer to as God, like there's definitely multiverses. In one of those, there's a God. No God could be contained. And in a sense, I mean, a God is just probably a very evolved entity.
mm,
You know, you don't need much to be a god. You know, you need to be able to heal people, and that's just cellular stuff. And you need to be able to fly, and that's just telekinesis. And you need to be able to create things out of nothing. That's just psychokinesis. Like, you know, I mean, those things are all concepts that we've been reading about in science fiction. And, you know, all of those characters would have been gods too.
yeah, man, I like that a lot. It seems like something unique about human condition, or at least like this physical plane that we're on. So not just humans, but other life here too, is limitations. It almost seems like you just through my experiences with psychedelics and occult practice and stuff, it seems like limitations are unique to us. It's like a lot of things don't experience at least the same degree of limitations.
Can
And
you
maybe that
clarify what you mean limitations?
yeah, so like physical reality. Uh,
Okay.
like physical like what we're talking about, like levitation. The fact that we can't just be somewhere without going through a linear process of like A to B.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
um these are confinements. And I that kind of is like the three-dimensional aspect behind
Yeah.
this. It almost seems like infinite is like such a foreign concept that we have a hard time wrapping our heads around. But it almost seems like that's the standard, and the confinement and the physical limitations are almost you like a commodity. Like that's a special kind of thing almost.
It's it's pretty it's pretty valid to state that boundaries and borders were human designs.
Mm,
You know, I don't want you over here anymore, so that's your stuff now, and this is my stuff. And you know, I
yeah.
it just like time and money and you know, money used to be seashells and shit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. And it's like and it starts to get reasonable when it's like, okay, well, humans suck. So it's like it's kind of obvious why you wouldn't allow anyone in your home,
Yeah.
right? Like you'd be kind of selective and
We're
exclusionary.
unpredictable and
Yeah.
we have a very profound sense of determination once we justify it to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we're capable of anything. I mean, shit, man, they made a hydrogen bomb. You know, that took a lot of effort, man.
A
you
lot of
know?
effort and a lot of hubris, like you're saying.
Yeah,
Like we're just gonna do it regardless of consequence.
that's CERN, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
I am impressed that if they can do the shit that they all tell us they do, which I think they do a lot more than what they tell us they do, but like who are they to have the authority to just rip open the universe and destroy everything that ex they don't have that authority, man.
no, I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, no, man, me either.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to be the representation of me.
Yeah.
Like, like I feel I'd be the best person to explain what I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think I'm an anarchist, but I'm like every day I get closer to it. And that's not something that took me a while to understand about anarchy is it's not an argument about quality of life. It's kind of like it's an understanding that this will cause things to get worse. But it's like a prioritization of freedom um at the cost of uh with an obvious cost to quality of life and things like that. But I guess what I mean to say is I deeply resent authority, and I always have.
Yeah.
And it's so unnatural, and we find ourselves. It seems like humanity. I just recently read V for Vendetta, um, and he does a little speech in that where like he's doing he hijacks the broadcasting center, and he's talking about how humanity has been given opportunities to uh, take things into their own hands. And every time they've been presented with this opportunity, they choose to be servile. And that does seem like a very, people are scared of being accountable. It's like we like to, if something bad happens, blame it on someone else. It,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's human nature, I think, man.
yeah,
I think the best of us are the ones who can embrace their mistakes and then figure out how to utilize it for something better.
oh, for sure.
I mean, shit, we all just screw up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, like I value honesty and transparency, like authenticity, more than anything else. And I think that has a lot to do with because it's not always easy to, there's plenty of examples where you can think of where it would benefit you to be dishonest or withhold information.
In
Like,
almost every thing that we do, man.
yeah, for sure.
Except for music, I guess. It'd probably be counterproductive in music.
That's a really good point. Like, music is it's easy for maybe not everyone, but it's easy to tell sometimes when someone's not, this is not coming from the heart. And it's
Oh
already,
yeah. Do like for me, man, like and I don't judge it because I respect the musicianship or the songwriting abilities or whatever. But I mean, it's pretty quick for me, like if they wrote that song for them or for everyone else.
yeah. Yeah. And I like what you said too, like appreciating that because there is an art form to creating the pop hit, right?
Yeah, man. Like like Platypus 9, that is some really structured shit most of the time. And so like that version of songwriting is probably like my truest. But I mean, I write all kinds of shit. I play in all kinds of stuff. I'm fortunate enough and like sometime very soon I'm gonna go sit down and do a songwriting session with like two dudes, two heavy dudes like in the industry world. And I hope we write something that's like perfectly cheesy and everyone can fully understand what it's about.
Yeah. Even before
You
I
know?
like Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, not at all.
Okay. I was just gonna say that's and I don't mean to like um what's the terminology? Blow bubbles up your ass, blow farts up your what's the word?
I get the point.
Yeah. I don't mean to like sing your praises too highly, but that's even before I got to know you, that's something I always appreciated about Platypus is how authentic and just strange and weird what you do is. It's very genuine.
That, that's what we are, man. We're strange
Yeah.
and weird.
Yeah.
No, man, like for real, like when I'm writing a new thing, like when I'm starting what'll become a Platypus 9 effort, like I throw away so much just because it reminds me of something I already did, whenever it was, or something else. Like I trash so much, dude.
Hmm.
Like it does. It takes us like at least over a year to write a full album because I throw away so much of it. And it's all good stuff. I think people would be like, "Hey, that's really good," but it's too similar, man. I just can't. I don't want to recreate things, you know.
Yeah. As a fan, it's kind of like I want to hear that stuff, but I also appreciate the artistic, like, no, I'm only doing the thing one time the best way, and then I'm moving on to something else.
You know, man, we uh like we have me and Lisa have this thing called Summer at Montauk, and that's me and her doing everything, all the instruments, everything. And so like that fulfills this part of me. And so like and I have this thing with JV that we do called You and I, and that is some of the most beautiful shit you'll ever hear. And then and that fulfills me a lot. And then it's on and on these other things, Carpet Stain, Apocalyptic Pimple, and NRA sets. But Vladipus 9 is like 100% me.
Yeah.
Like all those other things are these components of me as a musician and a human, and but Vladipus 9, that's everything that I am.
Mm, hell yeah. Um, I want to get into AI, and I don't know where to start because I guess we can start with the artist angle and then get into more conspiratorial stuff. Um, how what is your prediction of like what AI is going to do to, let's say, just specifically music?
It's going to take over because most people don't want real music. They want something they can understand and feel a part of, like everybody else is a part of. You know, like I mean that's how punk rock was built was, hey, they're like us. And so like AI is very great, I mean, especially the homosexual country songs that it writes. Those are some of the best songs I've heard in my life sometimes. But like AI is going to dominate everything music as far as commercial music. But I can tell you this, it's going to accelerate the people who are getting tired of that shit, of listening to McDonald's jingles as a top one hit on the fucking radio. Like, no offense to them because I respect anyone who's doing what they think they should really be doing,
Hmm.
you know? But, man, like AI, I'll tell you this, man. This is a real life experience. A long time ago, I, when I first came here, I recorded at a guy's place, and it was professional. It wasn't like some bullshit. And it took a really long time for that guy to give me my master's, and finally he had me come over, and he played it for me, and it sounded like shit. I mean, like total shit. And I was like, man, what's going on? And he's like, look, you are producing sounds that my my programs can't understand, so they're filling in spaces with what they think they're supposed to be hearing. And that was it. That was the end of it. There was nothing else he could do. And so I know that there's art that AI cannot reproduce, man.
I gotcha. I gotcha. It's yeah, it's just a really intelligent learning thing, but it's not a creator. It
It's like
doesn't.
a guitar pedal, man. It's just
Mm,
like a really smart fucking guitar pedal or microphone or, effects loop or whatever. It, like one could argue that as artists, all we do is recreate in our art our experiences. And so, how is AI any different? Because AI's only experiences that we know of is data. So, if they're using all the data they've accumulated to create something that they're told to, how is that any different than if I make the greatest Platypus 9 song because some guy in Asia paid me to make whatever I wanted? You know,
yeah,
I it's a really like it's very simple to say that AI is not an artist, especially currently. But I think all of us weren't artists at one time.
mm, mm,
Now, whether like I always like I when I talk to people about playing music and they're like, "No, I don't know how to do that." And I'm like, "It's just practice." I was like, "A year of practice, you can play any instrument well enough." I was like, "But being creative is a very different thing." And I don't know how AI could ever be creative because I believe that's a consciousness thing.
yeah, I got you. It's it like an easier example for me to point to is like visual art, where it's like AI quote unquote making visual art is just it taking sources from the internet. It wouldn't be able to do any of that without a frame of reference. It
It,
wouldn't.
it's just like the most evolved form of plagiarism that exists,
Mhm.
man.
Well said.
You know?
Yeah. Outside of art, how do you I mean it's pretty much gonna like replace everyone in every industry, right? Like
Yeah,
and the most like optimistic version of that is just like universal income.
that's correct. That's correct. That's why we're going to digital currency because they got to wipe everybody out, like all their debts, all their shit. And but the thing is what I think is they're going to determine what your basic income should be based on your credit score and your past histories and on and on and on. Like everything, like Westworld shit, man, where they,
Yeah.
tracking, what's in your pee.
Yeah. So social credit score, what you said
Yeah,
online, how many times you've been on Rhetoric Rabbit Hole, things like
yeah, dude. Yeah.
yeah.
And but it ultimately I want to be careful when I say this, but ultimately, any system that just allows us all to do whatever the hell we want, that isn't harming everybody, like, I mean, that sounds like a better system.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think unfortunately that's not what's gonna happen.
No, not at all. Not even close.
But that's what I'm saying is like optimistically, that's the best outcome it possibly could be is
Yeah.
that no one has to work because AI is doing everything and everyone has the freedom and the time to, but to like bring this full circle back to what we were talking about earlier, a lot of the decisions that are made, like, yes, there's people make evil decisions based off of profit and greed, like big oil. They're doing this stuff so they can make a ton of money. But then there's also decisions where it's like you're losing money doing this and you're choosing to be evil anyway. It's like there's a malicious force here that will not allow us to, where I find it unlikely that we're going to get off that easy, where no one has to work and everyone can just make art all day. Like I doubt it's going to go that way
Yeah,
personally.
no, I don't believe it will. No. But
Yeah.
you know, it's not a bad idea. Man, I always think about forest fires, you know? They scoop up a bunch of water and they fly over a fire and they drop a bunch of water on it that evaporates really before it can hit the fire. If they really wanted to put out fire, they just use dirt. But they don't use dirt. They use water. And so they're not trying to put out fires. They're not trying to solve problems. They're not it's it's in it's in our suffering that we're cursed and we are blessed. Because through our suffering we grow and evolve. And it's also through our suffering that we 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 digress.
Yeah, well said. We perpetuate those evils put onto us a lot of time. I
We
know that's
we we need them, right? Like
uh,
it's like without them, how do we know what to strive to be better? How do we know what to fight?
yeah. Who are um who are some of your role models, like your aspirations?
Clarify that.
So I yeah, that totally fair question. That is a very ambiguous question. I mean like so for a lot of people it's Jesus. There's like a moral compass. Um who are like some of your philosophers and like great thinkers?
Jung.
Carl
Oh,
Carl Carl Jung?
yeah. And
Okay.
Alman Hillman. I really love that guy. I don't know if you know who that is. If
Mm-mm.
not, man, you should check it out, man.
Okay.
Do you know the Danny Jones podcast?
Danny Jones. Is he a rapper?
No, man, he's just some guy in Tampa, but he has the talent of interviewing the most fascinating and the most highest expertise in their field. And I caught wind of Alman Hillman on his show, and that guy he truly doesn't care if you believe him or not, because he's just telling you truths.
I
And
got
I respect that guy a lot, even though he's crazy as shit. He's crazy. I most, man, I think the best way for me to answer that is every time I meet a good person, they are kind of that at the moment.
you. Mm.
Because I
Yeah,
don't, I like have conversations with people, I get advice and stuff, but my moral compass, it's pretty solid. I know right from wrong, and I know that you have to stop wrong when it happens. But I also know that there's not really anything you can do about any of it.
that's the part I'm still trying to figure out is what am I capable? The internet makes it weird. Like I don't know what I am capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Man, I was really lucky. I like I except for like realistic paintings, I can do about any kind of art well enough for me to be happy with it. But music, you can't bullshit that, man.
Mm.
Like, with a painting, you can paint over it 1,000 times. With a novel, you can write it 1,000 times till it's perfect. But with music, man, you just make that shit and that's what it is. And recording's different, but in my heart, I'm always this live music guy,
Yeah, yeah. I like what you said is like the role model is whoever is kind in your
Yeah,
day-to-day life. I like
it,
that a lot.
it's like I encounter crappy people all the time, but it's rare that, I'm lucky, man. I managed to meet some amazing people here in Nashville, man. Like just amazing people. People that I probably didn't think existed anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
And then a bunch of bastards, so many bastards.
That too. That too. Yeah. What I may have asked you this before last time you were on, so I apologize. But
That was 5 years ago, man.
yeah, at this point, we might as well ask again, right? So, what kind of music was in the house growing up when you were a kid, or like in the
Uh, okay, so my mom liked the Oak Ridge Boys in Alabama. So that was a lot when my mom was in I guess control, but not because of that word's meaning. My dad, that was Pink Floyd, shit like that. And then I kind of was lucky enough to watch the birth of music television.
Mm,
And so I got to see a lot of different stuff as it went through. Um, but really, we used to go when I was young, we used to go to bluegrass festivals. And I love bluegrass. Man, I wanted to be a banjo player so bad, dude. My dad took me to a music store, and the long-haired cool dude was like, "So what do you want?" I was like, "I want a banjo, man." He's like, "Dude, you don't want a banjo." He's like, "You want a guitar? He just trust me on this." And he looked cool, and I'm like, "All right." So I became a guitarist.
that dude drastically changed the direction of your
Yeah,
life.
my entire existence, dude. My entire existence. When I used to get in trouble all the time, and I mean all the fucking time, dude. And my dad, he would punish me by making me like stay in my room and listen to Pink Floyd albums. And that would be like punishment for me. And I took in so much shit, especially stuff I didn't want to. I toured around with a Christian country band for like a year, dude, when I was younger. And that was quite an experience.
Yeah. Did you come from a religious family?
You know what? My parents, they made us go to church until we didn't want to, but they never let us know that until we were like, we don't want to. And then that was the end of it.
I got you.
But
It's cool.
I have always been profoundly spiritual and
Mm.
ethereal and all of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Questioner.
There,
Yeah.
I don't know what created all of this, but something did. I don't believe, I mean, like we can say that two universal membranes somehow touched. There's your Big Bang. That's where all the shit that wasn't in there came from. But I mean, human beings, man, the odds of that shit are really, I mean, there's none of us that are still monkeys.
Mm.
There's none of us that are still fish or reptiles. Those are still those things, but
Yeah.
we're human beings.
It is. I think about it so often, but the last time you were on 5 years ago, and it has been a constant thing that I've thought about all of this time, is you telling me about platypi and how the platypus is like the most obvious example of genetic manipulation.
It truly is, man. It truly is. It
Like that
does it.
shit's crazy.
It is. It totally is.
Like bioluminescent, venomous. It's a mammal, but it lays eggs.
It's got a bill and a beaver tail kind of thing.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. No, it was like the perfect mismatch. So they were like, this one gets to live.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
But
really sweet, apparently. Like I've seen videos of people petting them and stuff. I always heard you couldn't that they had bacteria on them that were harmful, but I don't think that's true. I think they just didn't want people touching platypus. Like they don't want you talking to dolphins, that same kind of thing.
mm. They know things. They know
That shit,
things.
it's illegal, man. It's illegal to try to have a conversation mentally with a dolphin. That
Wait,
you just Google it, man.
are you serious?
Yeah,
It's illegal?
as far as I know, it's against the law to try to communicate openly with dolphins.
What the fuck?
Man.
What the fuck? That's
I
crazy.
I hope it's not true, but I'm pretty sure it is true.
Oh, I mean, there's so many dumb bullshit laws. I'm sure it is. Man, that's wild though. I didn't know that. What have you been listening to in like the last week or like the
Oh,
last month?
okay. So for a while, I was listening to the new Butthole Surfers release,
Mm.
which is so amazing.
Damn, they put
It
out new music? That's crazy.
no, it's like all these old live performances that Paul Leary mastered to sound like one continuous concert, but
Oh,
it's like different eras. It's like as close as being at a Butthole Surfer show as you could get like back then, dude. It's amazing.
My uncle used to tell me stories about seeing them live and just how unique of an experience that was.
Yeah, they were like an event, dude. But I've
Yeah.
never seen them. I've only seen videos. I
Yeah.
do. I sometimes I converse very casually with Paul Weary, and those are always like the coolest things.
Hell yeah.
Um, I bought a Dead Milkman CD a couple of days ago. I've been listening to that. I had never heard of it. Probably everyone else had, but it's called Pretty Music for Pretty People. It was done in 2012. It's not a comp, and I had never heard of any of those songs. I figure it must be sometime around the Soul rotation because everything fell apart for those poor guys then.
I gotcha. It's it's a story all too common.
I and Tarantula Heart by the Melvins, which
Mm.
I have to admit is probably in the top three greatest albums I've ever heard in my
Mm.
life. Like, you know.
That's so funny because it's that's not one of the Melvins albums that people talk about.
No, it's nothing. I mean, you know, before that one, I would say Ozma. I'd be like,
Mm.
Ozma is
Yeah.
their fucking masterpiece. Everything else is wonderful. But Tarantula Heart, man, they pushed some shit that I didn't know was in them. So like that, like I think that's what sold it to me is,
That's
you
what's
know.
up. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. I'm not familiar with that one. Like mostly for me, it's Ozma and Stoner Witch. But
Yeah, like you know, that's what you would think. But Tarantula Heart, man, they just went crazy on that shit, man.
hell yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think the first song's like 18 minutes long or some shit, dude. It's
Oh
beautiful.
shit, that's so cool. I love like art that isn't profitable
Oh yeah, like
or marketable.
if
Yeah,
you make an 18-minute song, there's no hope of maybe in a movie, if you're scoring a short film, maybe you could get it
yeah.
all in there.
Maybe they'll use like 30 seconds of it for the movie.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
but like there's no profit in an 18-minute song.
yeah.
We're lucky. Our producer, he lets us do what we want. So, but we never really go over like somewhat over 5 minutes, you know.
I
But
gotcha.
that's just us. But
No, yeah,
we are starting to talk pretty heavily, me and Lisa, about and our drummer Matt too, um that we're thinking about wanting to record a live straight through album, like where we don't stop or anything. That shit is just one take live album, and we're really starting to think about that, man.
hell yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah, you'll see our set, you'll get an idea of like this direction. That's the new direction, I guess is how you put it.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've seen you play, so I'm looking forward to that. And
I,
just the rest of the crazy lineup you're putting together.
shit, I got a new amp, dude. It's coming, dude.
That
I got a Mesa Boogie Lone Star special, and I think it's gonna just my sound. I think it's just gonna improve like my tones and stuff.
hell yeah. What's your writing process like? Let me ask you a more specific question. Um, are you like are you like a conscious writer? Like I'm gonna write music today, or like do you channel? Like what's that? What does that feel like for you, I guess?
I guess there's like three predominant approaches. Um, and then there's a fourth one that just happens spontaneously. I like the fourth, we'll do the fourth one because that's easy. Like I'll write the entire song in my head, even the tunings. Um, and then I'll just sit down and get it out of me.
Wow.
But that's rare. That song, Transparent Fences off of one of our albums. That song I wrote entirely in my head in a car ride.
Wow.
And another song, A More Modest Proposal, that's acoustic stuff. So it was a long time ago. I wrote all of the music in my head in like a flash while I was watching a movie with Lisa. But those are very spontaneous things. When I there's an approach where something occurs, an event like in the world or just in my daily life, and I have to I have to counter it. And the only way I really can effectively do that for my own well-being is to write a song about it.
Mm,
And so that's what Grim Poobah is. That's what that shit is. That's me and Lisa telling you what we think
yeah,
about shit. And then another the another not most prominent but pretty close, probably really close is I like to watch like horror movies and just play music while I'm watching them. And every once in a while something will catch my ear that I did and I'll be like, "Hey," and I'll fuck with that and eventually I'll turn that into something. 'Cause like it only takes like a frequency or a tone for me to build something out of it. And I guess another thing too is a lot of the music that I write, a lot of that are these sounds and frequencies and tones that I hear in my head, and I want them out. I want to play with them. And so I spend 6 months tracking down pedal YouTube videos of guys using pedals not the way I'd use them, so they do me no good. And but eventually I'll find a pedal that almost can you can hear the sparkle in it that it's there. And so I get it and then I learn it and I pull these sounds out of my head. And a lot of our noise stuff like is based a lot of like when we go in and out of a song into noise into a song or whatever, that kind of idea, like all of that shit is spontaneous, but it's spontaneous because I know exactly what each pedal should do and what it should produce. And of course I have to control it and I have to, but so it's spontaneous in an intellectual way, I guess is what you would say.
I gotcha. That's okay. That's really cool. There's not a yeah. There's a few different answers to how you write stuff.
For sure, man. And that's just for Platypus 9. With everything else, that's a whole different idea, man.
I gotcha. There's not exactly one approach. Part of the reason I ask is it's something that's been on my mind a lot. I'm not a musician, but I write poetry and
Well, that just makes you a singer, dude.
yeah, fair enough. But it's I don't feel impassioned to do that as much. And I know part of it is that I'm just not um like I just don't I don't have like the passion or like I'm not upset. I don't have like negative emotions as much. Like I'm not angry. A lot of my stuff is angry. It's not even emo, it's just pissed off. And I don't feel that way all the time anymore. And so it's like hard for me to like and I think I've talked to a few people about this already, and I think the answer is I just need to try. Like I need to like sit down and try to do it because I can't really say that I have been. But it's just it's that's new to me because usually when I'm writing, it's just like I'm overwhelmed with these feelings and I just exercise it. Like I get it out of me, and I just don't feel that way right now. And but I still want to make stuff, you know? Yeah.
Do
Anyway,
you do you like feel that it's because you're overwhelmed and you've turned it off, or do you feel like that in a sense you've outgrown it?
I think I'm in a better place than I ever have been, just in my life. Like I'm not, um, I have like good people around me and my situation is better and, um, I'm like more conscious about my health and like not as many bad habits. And I think all of that is like I'm just mentally healthier than I've ever been.
You
And
know,
that,
man, like I don't mean to cut you off, but
okay, go ahead.
like at a time I was very angry all the time, and I wrote angry music and stuff. And sometimes I would write very beautiful music. And do don't you think that writing about good things is just as profound as writing about bad things?
I absolutely do. My problem, Joe, is I don't know how to do that. All I know how to do is write angry stuff. And I'm trying to figure out how to use my voice in a different way. Um, and I'll write like band write-ups like for my friends. It's like, and that's always very positive, but it's not exactly art though. It's not like it's not the same thing. Like my stuff is very like it's it's written poetry, but it's very hip hop driven. It's like kind of like just it's fuck you. It's angsty. And I just that's pretty much all I know how to do. So I'm trying to figure out how to write because I agree with you that it's even more profound to write happy stuff. I don't have any relationship with that.
It's not my place to say this, but I don't think that you should say it's all that you can do. I think you should say that it's what's most comfortable.
I got you. I got you. I mean, mindset probably has a lot to do with it. I appreciate that.
Because you know, man, like Grimm Poobah, man, that shit sounds all like, some happy shit. And those lyrics are dark, man.
Yeah.
Those are some dark ass lyrics.
Yeah.
And so, like in music, I can have that duality, you know? Maybe you need a duality with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Maybe kind of like the sort of like hip hop like street subject matter maybe is not maybe I should just try to do something different. Maybe even like comedy or this like approach it like a completely different approach maybe. Yeah.
I find that the real fulfillment of me producing something that I feel is a true portrayal of who I am. I find that regardless of what medium that comes out, I find the satisfaction I need from it.
Mm, yeah. I want to be vulnerable. I want
Can you sing?
I enjoy singing. Like I'll do karaoke. I
Well,
just
then you should start a band, dude.
okay. I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm not
if
opposed to the idea. I'm a little bit intimidated by it. I don't really.
you just, man, you just, if you sing karaoke, dude, then you can sing in front of anybody. Like, you know, it's just your words instead of the ones that they gave you.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Okay, mate. All right, fine. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's do
Fuck
it.
it, dude. Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Well, Joe, thanks for so much for doing this again, man.
No, I really appreciate it, man. I do.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you too. It's always a pleasure talking to you. That you're one of like the most like I really mean this. Like you're one of the most interesting, eclectic artists that I've ever had the pleasure of speaking to. So it's always a pleasure.
I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you.
As soon as you turn off of watching this, go listen to Grim Poobah, and I will see you at Dumpster Fire Fest 2 at the Cobra on what was that, January 8th through the 10th, right?
Correct.
3-day festival, both stages. That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really glad we did this, man.
Yeah, man. Literally anytime.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool.
And Alice, we'll see you next week. Bye.